And so today we're going to start talking about the startup process and also the sequence list here at Highland. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. And what we're going to look at, I'm going to first of all get the right screen up here, which I believe is screen 2. So I'm going to exit out this one and bring this one up. Let me expand it a little bit. All right, so what we have here, we have a sequence list, and then before we jump into the sequences, I want to talk about the startup process. So you're going to go to this power view right here, and to turn all the power on at Highland, you simply just hit this macro that says Highland power on, and it basically will walk you through turning on all the lights, all the relays, and resetting all the movers to get into their proper places, and it will clear out as well. So there's a series of steps within a macro, and it will clear it out the programmer for you. You'll be good to go. As soon as all the lights are done doing their spinning techniques and all that kind of stuff and resetting, you're going to hit Highland lamp on, and I'll expand this so you can see a little bit better. You'll hit Highland lamp on, and again, there's steps in this sequence as well to where it's just a one-step process, and you're good to go. To turn off the power, we have this Highland power off macro, and it actually includes the Highland lamp off macro, so you don't have to worry about this macro right here. So basically, this macro will turn the lamps off at first. It's going to wait 5 minutes to turn the power off, so that way the fans and the moving lights will cool down the lamps before shutting off right away, so that way we can save lamp life. So that's why it takes about 5 minutes for this macro to finish. So you could simply hit it and walk away from the console for a little bit, and then come back and shut down the whole console. All right, so we'll jump into the sequences right here. I'm going to expand this so we can see it a little bit better. So starting off from the top, I'm going to go ahead and activate this. And let me see the best way I can do it. I don't have a physical console in front of me, so I'm probably going to need to pull up another screen, and it's going to have to be this one. So excuse me while I get this set. And it's going to be pretty small on my screen, but you don't have to worry about this part because you're going to be doing all this on the actual console. So what we'll do is we'll start off. I'm going to hit go right here, and for some reason it immediately jumped into the message VTEX, so I'm going to hit go back just so we can go in. How about we do this? I'm just going to show you on this screen. It's going to make things easier. So I'm in pre-service. What I want to talk about real quick before we kind of go through each cue and through the songs and all that, I want to talk about loops and I want to talk about commands. So loops really helps out when we have this kind of a customized service, because every service is different, which is totally fine, and this is why we have loops. So if I set a loop, I'm going to jump back to announcements. Let's say if I set a loop saying I want to go straight from this queue that I'm currently on to meet and greet. Now I'll show you the right way to do it and the wrong way to do it, and right now I'm doing it the wrong way. You never want to do this in a live service because you need to do this all at the front end so that way these loops can work properly. So watch if I hit go. It's going to go to video. It should have gone to meet and greet, but it doesn't. But if I hit go back and then go, it's going to jump to meet and greet. So the right way to do this, again, is doing this before the service starts. And these come in handy for when the service is a little bit different. Sometimes we don't do a video before announcements. Sometimes we do 2 videos. So in that case, what I'll do is take this loop out and watch what it does right here. It's going to jump to meet and greet again. So I'll do announcements and then video. And let's say there's another video after the second portion of announcements. What we'll do is just hit go back. This is really the only time of service that you actually want to hit the go back button. And then you'll simply just hit go again for the second video, and then you'll go into your third set of announcements. So pretty simple. And then you'll, I skipped over worship for now. We'll come back to that and talk about that here in a second. You'll have meet and greet, and then you'll have all these other cues down here like VTech, and you'll have your message cues if they're live, and you'll have post worship. We can really break these down in person, or if someone's training you, just so that they can show you what each one does, and it's easier to see in person because right now you can't see what the actual lights are doing in real time. So going back up to worship, let's talk about that real quick. So you're always going to come out of clock straight into the first worship song, and you notice over here that I have some commands set up. That's what CMD stands for. It stands for command. So basically treat it like it's a virtual lighting operator helping you out, so that way you don't have to memorize so many things. So I'll go back to pre-service. You'll see that it says executor. Let's have a lot going on in this one. Executor 17 plus 22 plus 23, 26, 27 at 100. Fade time of 3. And then we also have executor 16, 21, 24 at 0, fade 3. So again, this is why commands are so helpful, because doing all that with your actual hands can be confusing, and you might pull down the wrong fader, might pull up the wrong fader. So this is why we include those. So you'll actually see these commands start working. I'm going to see if I can do this pretty quick. You're going to pull these faders up on 16 through 30, and watch what happens when when I hit go. You'll see that these faders start to come down. So that's basically what a command does. I mean, commands can do really anything you want on the console, but we mainly use them for faders, to bring faders up and down and to activate other executors. All right, so talking about songs, we'll go in and go to our first song. And this is where you're going to have fun on your laptop screen. So again, this is your laptop screen right here. When you first come in, you're going to see this page, but in order to get to your virtual faders, you're going to hit executor 16 through 30 and button 116 through button 130. And you'll have all of your what we call group masters. So these are a little bit different from regular executors. So the only thing that these executors do is control intensity to the lights. So all of your gobo information, color information, everything like that is going to be stored in these cues right here. So you'll see that it says red, orange, blue, and white. That just means the colors that you're going to see in this first song. So colors do change monthly. They don't stay the same all the time. So going back, again, you can create some really cool looks with these lights. So this first section, 16 through 20, or really 16 and 17, are your top lights. 21 through 24 are all your lights on the floor. And then your far right section here, 26 and 27, these are your side lights on the left side and the right side of the stage. So you'll be pulling these up, and again, you'll learn more of this in a live setting, and you'll actually see what the lights are doing right now. So no need to worry about these buttons. We don't really use these buttons at all, like the flash button. It's just doesn't work for us. So we just kind of keep those buttons there, and they're kind of obsolete or whatever. But talking about this row down here, so these buttons, I'll go back real quick to this screen, and we'll jump back over to the other screen in a second. So your first few buttons right here are going to be some chase effects for your moving lights. And then there's a fill chase right here that's kind of like good for a transition in a song, like if the builder or if the drums are building. So just toggle buttons, you can toggle them on and off, as you can see. Toggle on, toggle off. And then same thing for fill chase. And then we'll go back over to our other screen. And this is a continuation of our effects. So pretty much the same effects right here, but just on your LEDs. So you can turn them on, turn them off, and then you have some pan, tilt, and circle effects right here for your moving lights. Song transition is really great because your lights that contain gobo and color information need to come down so that way they can switch color and gobos, so that way it's not seen to the eye, because it can get pretty ugly when switching gobos. So you want to definitely hit this when the song ends before you go to the next song, and then you can hit your next song. If I can do it, there we go. I know this is very small, but you get the point. And then you can bring these fixtures back up like so, and whenever you want. You don't have to have these up at all times. You can have some faders down, so that way you can create some really cool looks and be dynamic with the actual song. And then moving on, just talking about these last couple of buttons right here. Like you have your frost for your moving lights, and then you have a hazer right here that is simply an on-off cue. So pretty cool. That's really it for that look right there. And I'm going to jump back over to this page right here and talk about this executor. So this executor is great for worship and really only used for worship. This contains position information. So your lights will, your moving lights will change positions when going to each of these cues. And you can't see them right now, but you'll definitely see them in person when you're training or practicing. The cool thing about this, you see that it's 5 seconds, the fade time, but you can actually change it. There's a couple of different ways of doing it. You can type in the manual fade time if you want, but the easiest thing to do is to, let me find, yes, right here. So we were actually on the right page. This executor time section, it's actually on both sides right here as well. So if I hit this red button, then you have 0 to 60 seconds to play with. And really for moving lights, I tend to play, like on slow songs, anywhere between 10 to 20. So if I change it to about 10 and I hit go, you're going to see that it's going to count down from 10 right there. So basically this execution time is overriding the recorded time right here. So pretty cool. And then if you change it to, let's say 1.8, you'll see it change right here. Pretty simple. So not every executor is set like that. You can actually tell which executor you want to ignore the override execution time, and it's like that on the first fader. And then your effects as well, I believe, ignore this execution time as well. We can check that right now. And yes, it does. So, I mean, I'll show you again. So that's at 15 seconds. And we can watch this. So that's about 2 seconds right there. So they do ignore that execution time. So that is pretty much it. Let's go back to our view right here. I know I'm jumping around a lot, but this is the best way to go through this. And then your front wash override right here. This is important. We'll talk about this Speedmaster in a second, but front wash override. This comes on automatically when you go to your first song, and you control this level throughout worship. So if you want to bring it down and create a moment, or bring it all the way down between songs and then bring it back up, it gives you the ability to do so. And then it's like this all the way through song 4 and then post-worship as well. So you definitely want to make sure this is up all the way during post-worship. And once you go to announcements right here, you're going to see that it releases right here, and all the information is going to be back into the main executor right here, to where you're just going to be using this main sequence list throughout the rest of the service. And then our Speedmaster right here is, going back up. Let's see. You see right here in these songs that I have a special special master in here. It says 3.3, so that is corresponding with this master right here and this one. I have two of them because this is an actual button on the console and this is a fader, so that way you can like mess with the fader and mess with different tempos and all that. So you see that it says 130, and let's say I want to change it to 120, and you can get the tempos of these songs off of Planning Center. So you'll go on Planning Center, go to song 1, and you'll find the tempo information, and let's say it's 120, you'll type it in, and let's see if I go back, you're going to see this executor right here change to 120, and boom, there it goes. And let's say I want to change this one to, like, not 190, that's a very quick song. Let's say 108, not 1008. I cannot type today. 108. All right, and then it's going to change to 108. So again, you can find all of these tempos on Planning Center, and that's how you change them. So guys, that's about it. I want to keep these videos as short as possible. We'll move on to some other fun stuff about operating the console here at Highland. But for now, that is it. We'll see you next time.